the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. And again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
The guy got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Wow. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started.
Okay, let's go.
From a studio deep in the heart of Texas.
You're not going to believe the garbage that fell out of his mouth.
The voice of the working man.
This clown had the audacity to say that.
It's the Gavin Mitchell Show.
It's not a race issue. It's a First Amendment issue, and we all just need to understand it.
And now, here's your host, Gavin Mitchell.
It is Friday before the primaries in South Carolina, and folks, the bloodbath continues out east. We expected it to be violent. We expected it to be hard-hitting, and that's exactly what we got. Last night we had the second piece to the CNN town hall where Bush, Kasich, and Trump showed up. They divided it into two parts. We got the second, I guess the sequel to that piece. We also had the Conservative Review Conference, and Marco Rubio did not make any friends. There is a lot to get to today. Thank you for joining the Gavin Mitchell Show. I am Gavin Mitchell, but we are going to start with Donald Trump versus the Pope. Now, who fights the Pope? I mean, I get it. I get that Donald Trump is headstrong. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's even narcissistic. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But who fights the Pope in anything? Now, I'm going to be as objective as I can be on this, and I think you're going to be surprised where I land, because actually, I'm a little bit on the Trump side. I actually think he's okay here. And here's what happened. The Trump came to Mexico, did his tour of Mexico, and ended up in Juarez, which is a border town directly across from El Paso, where he put on a big mass, and in El Paso, they filled the Sun Bowl. The Pope hopped in his Pope Mobile and then in the Pope jet and took off. And while he was somewhere over Dallas, according to the map in the background as he's making these comments, he decides to come out and say that Donald Trump is not a Christian. And his rationale for doing this is that a person who thinks only about building a wall, wherever they may be, and not building bridges is not Christian. That is not the gospel. And that's exactly what the Pope told journalists on his flight back to Rome. Now, I've got several problems with this. The first is that the Vatican has walls. The Vatican has walls surrounding it completely. And so for the Pope to come out and say, you can't build walls, you have to build bridges, and if you build walls, you're not a Christian. Well, what does that make anybody that resides at the Vatican or anybody that is of the Catholic belief that supports the Pope as their leader? Is that not the definition of hypocrisy? To me, it is. So that seems just a little curious to me that the Pope would be critical of building a wall when this country is in crisis mode. There's no two ways about it. We have a very serious epidemic of illegal immigration, and we have terrorists who have waged war on us in Christianity, and they are jumping through every loophole they can in the legal system, but they have discovered an open gate down south, and their goal isn't to come and share in the harvest, to work and reap the benefits. That's not these terrorists' goal. Their goal is to come and wage jihad on us. And so securing the border is necessary. It is nothing that is unprecedented. You can even go back into the Old Testament and look at the battles that took place over territory. The Bible, at least in my opinion, supports the idea of sovereign nations as we know it. There's no two ways about that. And so for the Pope to do this, yeah. But moreover, I think it underscores the fact that the Pope is a political leader, is he not? He masks himself and he charades, and my gosh, I can see the emails coming from the Catholics now. But he charades as a spiritual leader. But he's out there and all he does is politic as if he were a leader of a nation. And what he does is he promotes socialistic ideas, world economy, and world culture. He is very much of the same ideology that this president is of. And so we have this political leader, and you can't tell me otherwise, and I know there are so many Catholics out there, but I'm Southern Baptist. And in my ideology, or at least in my theological beliefs, Christ died to atone for my sins, so he built that bridge. I get to talk to God directly because Christ died for me. I don't have to go through the Pope or a priest. Now, the Bible does say if you confess your sins to another believer, they're hurt. Okay, so I'm good with that. I'm good with the idea. I'm not picking on Catholics here. What I'm telling you is the Pope is a political leader at this point. He is a political advocate. And him attacking Trump, not only is it hypocritical, here's point two. Trump isn't the only one that wants to build a wall. He's just the only one that says, I'm going to get it done and make Mexico pay for it. We're all for building the wall, whether it's literally or figuratively. We're all for securing the border. Ted Cruz is for securing the border. We're kind of unsure where Marco Rubio stands. We're unsure where Jeb Bush stands. John Kasich's for it, and Carson's for it. So it's not just Donald Trump that wants to build the wall. But for him to go after Donald Trump leaves me scratching my head. What is it about Donald Trump that the Pope found so compelling to attack him? Or did he? Because there's nothing in here that says he's talking about Donald Trump, but that's how it was interpreted by everybody. I'm going to read it again. A person who thinks only about building walls, wherever they may be, and not building bridges is not Christian. This is not the gospel. That doesn't say Donald Trump anywhere. But the media interpreted it that way. Donald Trump interpreted it that way, and the other candidates interpreted it that way. Well, Donald Trump was at the CNN town hall last night, and he responded he responded prior to. We'll talk about what happened at the town hall. But here's Donald Trump's response to what the Pope said as he believed it was him. Ron, cut one, please.
For a religious leader to question a person's faith is disgraceful. If and when the Vatican is attacked by ISIS, which, as everyone knows, is ISIS's ultimate trophy, I can promise you that the Pope would have only wished and prayed that Donald Trump would have been president. The Pope is being told that Donald Trump is not a nice person, okay? Donald Trump is a very nice person, and I'm a very good Christian. The Pope said something to the effect that maybe Donald Trump isn't Christian, okay? And he's questioning my faith. I was very surprised to see it, but I am a Christian. I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be a Christian, and as president, I will not allow Christianity to be consistently attacked and weakened. No leader, especially a religious leader, should have the right to question another man's religion or faith.
So, as you can tell, this is very personal to Donald Trump. Now, I don't know that I agree with the Don that he's a nice guy. I don't know the guy. He seems like a fireball to me. In fact, in that town hall, he claimed that his biggest fault is allowing people to push him too far and him being tolerant of it. But once he snaps, and he doesn't forget. He is ruthless till the day one of you dies. So I don't know if that vengeance is Christian-like or not. That's not my place to judge the Don, whether he's a good guy or whether he's a Christian. What is baffling to me is that the Pope felt like this was his business, that the relations between the United States and Mexico and the relations between the United States and these illegal immigrants, we're not shutting off the borders, folks. We're not saying nobody can come in. What we're saying is you have to do it legally. That's all anybody is saying. And for the Pope to promote illegal immigration in this manner is disgusting to me. And I don't want to hear Christian or not Christian. Yes, it's Christian to help your brother. Yes, it's Christian to give them a roof and lend them a hand. I agree with all that, but it's also Christian to follow the rule of the land and the law of the land. And so this is a two-edged sword. I have no problem helping somebody who came over here legally, who is an American citizen that needs a hand for a little bit. Bad times fall on everybody. This isn't an issue of empathy or sympathy or charity or goodwill, and that's not it at all. What this is the Pope playing politics, and that's unacceptable from the leader of the Catholic Church. There's no two ways about it. But what I don't understand is how all of this was interpreted as, and maybe there's a piece of the story I'm just not seeing, and I dug hard. Last night and today after it broke, I wanted to know what this was all about, because it's not every day that a political candidate, and the reality is in the world of politics, in the international world of politics, Donald Trump is nobody yet. He hasn't achieved anything. He hasn't done anything. He is nobody. And here is the Pope, who is probably the most infamous person in the world, calling him out. And so I would like to know more about it, but there doesn't seem to be anything other than that statement and Donald Trump reacting to it, and I find it fascinating. That's going to do it for segment one. We've got to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you on the other side.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Well, the holidays are over and made Mom and the kids happy. Now it's time to make old Dad happy, especially if he rides a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. At Custom Bikes by Mike, wintertime is the perfect time for a service job. Maybe you heard a funny noise last time you rode your Harley. Time to check her out now. Tires, tubes, brakes, air filter, oil, wheels. Custom Bikes by Mike has it all, and these guys are Harley experts. They're located on Johnson County Road 1100A. That's between Rio Vista and Grandview, and they'll save you money. Check out the website at CustomBikesByMike.com or call 817-373-3090. The Harley experts.
Saturday, April 23rd at the beautiful Texas Opry in Weatherford, Texas. Make plans to see Mo Bandy.
I'm Bandy the rodeo clown's not really cheating. She's just getting even till I'm too old to die young. Hank Williams, you wrote my life.
The Texas Opry Theater presents Mo Bandy, Saturday, April 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets by calling 817-341-1000 or go online at TexasOpryTheater.com. The Texas Opry Theater is located at 315 York Avenue in Weatherford, Texas. Don't miss Mo Bandy, Saturday, April 23rd. For tickets, call 817-341-1000 or go online at TexasOpryTheater.com.
Is your vehicle not running quite right? Do you think it may be a problem with a transmission? Maybe you already know you need a new transmission or repairs. Whichever the case, bring it to Johnson's Transmission Service, located at 707 South Main in Cleburne. With over 35 years experience, Johnson's Transmission Service can get your automobile back in top running condition. They offer free estimates, accurate turnaround times for all their services, and some of the best prices you'll find on car repairs in the area. Call them today at 817-645-2491. That number again is 817-645-2491.
Are you tired of the same 400 songs that get played over and over and over? Do you like classic rock from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s? Would you like to hear new songs from classic rock artists like Aerosmith, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Joe Walsh, Kiss, and Van Halen? Well, you need to tune in to samsclassicrockandroll.com, where you will hear songs that you haven't heard in years and new material from classic rock artists. It's free and it's on the internet at www.samsclassicrockandroll.com.
Twisted Roads Trading Post in Crowley, Texas is your premier biker apparel, leather, and accessories store. Stop in and visit with Brothers Ron and Carl Phillips. Twisted Roads Trading Post carries leather jackets, chaps, vests, accessories, gifts, and more. Open 5 days a week, Wednesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Sundays, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Got a motorcycle or trike to sell? Their park and sell lot is now available and anxious to show off your ride. Sewing, embroidery, and t-shirt printing services are also available throughout the week. Call today or visit twistedroadstradingpost.com or find and like them on Facebook. Located west of Crowley on FM 1187, then south on FM 1902. Go 1.3 miles and look for the flags. 817-768-8761. That's 817-768-8761. Come on out and visit the boys at Twisted Roads Trading Post. If the flags are flying, they're open.
Hey, everybody, it's Chris Salcedo from the Blaze Radio Network. You are listening to The Gavin Mitchell Show.
So, even though we've had probably 30 Democratic town halls put on by CNN and your boy Cooper, as the president likes to call him, we haven't had much from CNN when it comes to Republican town halls until this week, and it takes place during the bloodbath that is South Carolina. And I've said it over and over again. We expected the gloves to come off. We expected it to get dirty. We expected there to be attacks, but I don't think anybody saw this coming. This is an absolute just parking lot brawl with brass knuckles and chains and baseball bats. It is straight from the Newsies where everybody's lined up and ready to go to work. And with that said, I think there are a lot of interesting things moving, but what has happened here is CNN took the field and parsed it and went 3-3. Last night, Kasich, Trump, and Bush were a part of the town hall meeting, and they each got their time for a town hall setting. Now, we talked about the previous night's town hall meeting where that's set up for Cruz to win. That's what Cruz does, and that's what Cruz does well. He was tailor-made for such an event. Marco struggled. Ben Carson was lackluster. It's exactly what we expected it to be. Well, going into last night's town hall event, what do we expect from that? Well, we've got the TV reality star Donald Trump. He ran over a decade of this apprentice. He's used to being on camera in front of people. This should be his moment to shine. This should be something he just takes control and runs with it. Hands down, I think CNN set this up for Trump and Cruz to come out miles ahead of everybody else so they can get this one-on-one battle that everybody wants. Everybody wants to know if it comes down to Trump and Cruz, what happens? Now, I find it very interesting that Mark Levin, and there's no secret, I'm a huge fan of his show, that Mark Levin came out last night, the night before, and finally expressed why he's so frustrated with Donald Trump. And he's frustrated with Donald Trump because Levin feels that if they would just put down the gloves, if they would just debate on the issues and quit making all these personal attacks and polarizing the voters and the constituencies, that together Trump and Cruz could take over the world. It would be a landslide election, regardless of who was first and who was second. And we could get conservatives back into the White House. We could get conservatives back in leadership, and we can start to get things done to save this country. And the reason Levin is so fired up is because it's not that they're going at each other. That's politics. It's that they're going at each other at the degree they are, and they have polarized those following them to where everybody, and when I say everybody, I just mean a vast majority of the followers of Cruz and the vast majority of the followers of Trump have come out and said, I will not vote for the other guy if he wins an election. I would vote for that socialist Bernie Sanders before I'd vote for that other guy. And that's a serious problem, and it's a concern I've had for quite a while. You have heard me say over and over again that my concern is that once we have a candidate and we send them to the general election, that our party is going to be so divided at the base that we're not going to be able to win, that we're going to be so hurt and chapped that we're not going to be able to support the candidate with full force. And that is problematic, folks, because that is how the Democrats win office. And moreover, we talk about electing somebody that's moderate. Every time we ran a moderate out there, we've got smashed. I mean, we've got absolutely destroyed. It's only when we ran a staunch conservative out there do we win, and we win in a landslide election. And so I think we need to keep all that in mind, that while Donald Trump is great and he will pull the independent vote, we do need some of that conservatism to pull the far right back in. And we can do it regardless of who's first and second on this ticket. If we can unite that ticket, we win hands down and everybody wins. So just a word of caution. But back to last night's GOP town hall. We expected Donald Trump to come in and shine. The problem is he didn't. He did what Donald Trump does. He came in, he was entertaining, he was throwing a few insults around, and of course the question coming in was, well, what is he going to say about the Pope? What is he going to say about the Pope? And he addressed it mildly, but nothing big. I like the Pope. He's a good guy. You know, I don't know why he's attacking me. He gave us the all shucks, which is fine. But when it came down to substance and substantive answers, we got Donald Trump. We got things that were superficial. We got no substance. And I'm sure he's got a plan. I'm sure he does. But he gave when they asked him about health care, he gave well, we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. You know, and that's just what we get from Donald Trump. We don't get any hard plans. And that's been the criticism, at least toward him, for a long time. And there's no doubt he's got plans. There's no doubt he's got an idea of what he's going to do. And his idea may be do nothing. I'm going to hire the best there is and let them do it. And that's fine. But he needs to start speaking, because I told you that NBC Wall Street Journal poll that came out that had Cruz ahead, that may have been a shot fired by Wall Street Journal at Donald Trump. That may be a bogus poll. It may be an outlier poll. It may be a bad sample. But it signals to those voting and those that are undecided that Trump is slipping. And that is critically important, because if he's showing signs of slipping, people's confidence slips. And if you'll remember Ross Perot, when he ran, he won like 19% of the general election, but 35% of the people leaving that poll said, I would have voted for Ross Perot if I thought he could win. And that's the deal with Trump. People are voting for him because they believe he can win. He's a winner in their mind. Right? He's going to make America great again. He's all about, you're a loser, I'm a winner. That's what we get from him. If he starts to show signals, or there are signals out there that he may not win, people will start jumping ship. I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and not lose voters. That may be true. But if you don't win and you start showing signs of the possibility of not winning, people will jump ship. It is that simple. And so he gets out there and he gives the cliche generalities, and that's fine if he's got a plan. The problem is I still haven't heard a real plan come out of his mouth. Yes, his team has released this and that. I want to hear him say it. I want to know he understands it, and we didn't get that last night. So CNN agrees with me that it was a lackluster appearance by the Don himself. Now, Jeb Bush, poor Jeb Bush. He was sad last night. He had his mom there, and he talked about how great his dad was, and all of that, and he spoke a little bit in Spanish, and all of that was great. But he was just sad. I felt bad for him. He is absolutely the establishment's pick, and what do you do? In fact, even CNN's calling him poor Jeb Bush. You can't help but feel for the guy. His mother was even in the crowd, but Bush was painful. His long, meandering answers were the equivalent of drinking an industrial-sized dose of sleepy time tea. You can literally feel both the personal and political burden weighing on Bush, and that's true. That's absolutely true. He is coming from a legacy. His last name is a dynasty. He is Bush. His dad was the president of the United States, among other things. His brother was president of the United States, among other things. And being a governor is not too shabby. But it's not president of the United States, and people feel like it's his turn. His family feels like it's his turn. The standard has been set so high in that Bush family that if you're not a president, you're not a man. And poor Jeb Bush. But the problem is that we are at a situation where those in Congress on the Republican side have just completely annihilated their following, their base. We want nothing to do with the establishment. And unfortunately for Jeb Bush, he is the definition of establishment. He is part of that legacy. And so it's a tough road to hoe. I saw a report today from Young Conservatives, and I know that's not a super credible news outlet, so I don't know how far to go with this, but it said Jeb's out of money. Now, I thought he had this super PAC with pockets that were endless, and they were talking about throwing millions, maybe even hundreds of $1 million for these smear campaigns not too long ago. So if this is true that he's out of money, that means people are jumping ship. Now, I will say this. I like Jeb Bush, the guy. He seems all right. He seems like a guy that might be fun to go fishing with. I don't know. He may even be a good president. We don't know that. The problem is the establishment up on the Hill, what Ted Cruz calls the Washington cartel, have done the deed. They have turned voters completely off. Them coupled with Barack Obama has created this vacuum that Donald Trump and Ted Cruz have jumped right in, and Bush doesn't fit that mold. He doesn't have an opportunity. And last night, he just stuttered. He slipped over himself. He rambled on and on. It wasn't a good showing. Now, here is the surprise of the night. John Kasich. And we all know how I feel about John Kasich. He's a liberal cloaked in Republican clothes. It's a Trojan horse is what he is. He's walking in parading as a Republican, but he's not a Republican. He's a moderate at best. He's an independent at best, but the reality is he's got a lot of liberal tendencies. But he's a great guy. He's a super guy. He's the guy that everybody wants to be around. He's a guy that I would love to call a friend because you know you can count on him. He's a good guy. He has good intentions. The problem is his philosophies and his ideology just aren't conservative. But he came out last night with emotional pleas and really connected on a personal level with the audience. You know, the Trump was entertaining, but I mean, Kasich talked about depression after his parents were killed by a drunk driver in 1987. That's real. People can relate to that. People get it. There was a kid in the crowd where he came out and he said, man, so much has gone wrong. So much has gone wrong in my life. I think he lost somebody in his life. His parents got divorced. His dad lost his job. Just a lot of bad things happened in a short period of time. And he said, I battled with depression, but it was from finding the Lord and leaning on Christ and my friends for support that I was able to get out of it. And I was able to find hope through that relationship with Jesus and through my friends. But I found hope in a presidential candidate, and that's you. And it was a touching moment. My gosh, it was great. And if you're a PR guy for John Kasich, you're jumping up and down screaming woo-hoo in the bathroom because you can't do it in the hall while this is going on. It was perfect for him. And what this shows is that John Kasich gets it. He gets that there are people involved. I heard him on CNN and Fox News this morning. That, yes, it takes some intellect to run the country. It takes some intellect to be a politician, but it takes some heart, too. It takes some emotion to understand you're dealing with real people, and I believe John Kasich's that guy. Again, the problem is that we're just not in a position for a moderate right now. This administration has just done so much damage that we are so turned off by anything that's not a conservative, anything that's not a win at all costs, anything that's not – we're getting America back, screw you, that we're not willing to entertain it. And that's just where we are. And so last night was very interesting. I would not be surprised if you saw Kasich earn some serious points from last night's showing, especially this close to tomorrow's primary. It was an incredible showing and an unexpected showing last night, unlike the night before where we thought Ted Cruz was just going to walk in and mop the floor, and he did. On the other side, we're going to talk about Marco Rubio. I think he has done it and stepped in it with Mark Levin, and that is a bad thing. We'll be back on the other side.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Accurate Paint and Body in Burleson is your dependable auto body and collision service center. They have been providing quality work for the Johnson County area since 1994. Accurate Paint and Body's trained technicians will fix your vehicle fast and at a reasonable rate. Accurate Paint and Body strives to exceed your expectations. Go by and see Lee at Accurate Paint and Body at 244 North Commerce Street in Burleson, or give him a call at 817-447-6883 to Accurate Paint and Body.
Is your vehicle not running quite right? Do you think it may be a problem with a transmission? Maybe you already know you need a new transmission or repairs. Whichever the case, bring it to Johnson's Transmission Service, located at 707 South Main in Cleburne. With over 35 years experience, Johnson's Transmission Service can get your automobile back in top running condition. They offer free estimates, accurate turnaround times for all their services, and some of the best prices you'll find on car repairs in the area. Call them today at 817-645-2491. That number again is 817-645-2491.
Hi there, I'm Slammin' Sam Myers, and I would like to invite you to listen to fun, exciting oldies, The Fox. It's an internet radio station that is like nothing else you've ever heard before. The best way to describe it is what radio would have been like if there were no rap music. What that means is you will hear music from the 50s like Elvis Presley all the way up to today's artists like Mark Ronson. It's real heavy on the music from 1970 to 1981. Tune in to www.thefoxoldies.com every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central, where you can catch Casey Kasem's American Top 40, playing every show from 1970 to 1988 in chronological order. Fun, exciting oldies, The Fox. It's music that doesn't have to be censored, and it's on 24/7, 365 days a year. Tune in at www.thefoxoldies.com. Fun, exciting oldies, The Fox.
Custom Bikes by Mike is a state-of-the-art motorcycle shop where the guys are Harley experts. They're located on Johnson County Road 1100A. That's between Rio Vista and Grandview, and they can save you money. They feature service jobs, extended warranty, wreck estimates, dyno computer readouts to get you tuned up fine. And at Custom Bikes by Mike, they have everything to keep that Harley on the road. Give them a call at 817-373-3090 or check out the website, CustomBikesByMike.com. They're open Tuesday through Friday, 8 to 6, Saturday from 9 to 3. And leave the other guys behind at the light. Try Custom Bikes by Mike.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Myers, here to tell you about the Texas Opry, located at 315 York Avenue in Weatherford, Texas. If you want to see some fine live entertainment and not have to wipe out your bank account, you need to visit the Texas Opry in Weatherford. It's a smoke and alcohol-free establishment, safe for the entire family. One of the best, if not the best, sound systems in the state of Texas. Great quality sound, and that to me is the most important thing. Go to the TexasOpryTheater.com to see the events that are coming up and ticket prices. You can also purchase season tickets at a discount. Call 817-341-1000. Most shows average in the $20 to $30 range per ticket. Check out the website at TexasOpryTheater.com or call 817-341-1000 for more details. The Texas Opry in Weatherford, Texas, located at 315 York Avenue, Weatherford, Texas. A great place with some great entertainment at a great price and safe for the entire family. Call 817-341-1000 to reserve your tickets or go to the website at TexasOpryTheater.com.
Hello, this is Patrick Fernari, author of Commoner Sense, The Working Person's Guide to America, and you're listening to The Gavin Mitchell Show.
So Marco Rubio has stepped in it big time, and I don't know how you get out of this one. I don't know. But before we get there, I want to remind you, you can find us on the web, www.thegavinmitchellshow.com. Email me directly, Gavin@thegavinmitchellshow.com. Would love to hear from you. Would love to hear your comments, whether you agree, disagree, have show ideas. Shoot them my way. I'd love to interact with you. And keep in mind, this is just one man's opinion. I would love to hear yours. I would love to have a discussion. Shoot, if there's enough substance to what you have to say, I may even bring you on the podcast. I'm all for having that debate, as long as it's civil and as long as both sides have enough evidence to support their case. I'm all for it. Find us on Twitter at The GM Show. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/The Gavin Mitchell Show. We're on iTunes, Spreaker, and TuneIn as well. And then don't forget the newly launched Conservative Radio Network. We are proud to be a part of that with Ron and his guys. So please tune in there, conservativeradionetwork.com. We're on the 405 and K98 Talk as well. I'm sure there are others that I am forgetting. Log on to the website, find out where we're at and when we're playing, and make sure you tune in early and late and find yourself some new favorite conservative talk on the internet. So Mark Levin has the Conservative Review, and I don't know his exact position with this organization. I know he at least claims he is editor-in-chief or something to that degree. He plays a prominent role, and that's all that matters. One of the flagships of Conservative Review is this Liberty Score. They go through and they grade each of the congressmen and senators, representatives, whatever you want to call it. Anybody that is elected by us, they grade them on their voting record and decide with what they call a Liberty Score. And the more conservative the stance, the higher the number is. For instance, Marco Rubio has a 79% score, where Ted Cruz is at 97. So it gives you an idea of just how conservative these representatives and these senators are. With that said, Conservative Review put on a conference in South Carolina. Ted Cruz was there. There were a number of people there. And this was supposed to be the flagship stand for conservatives to go out and listen to the candidates, to listen to speakers. This was a big deal. This was a big deal, and Mark Levin put his stamp on it. Here's the problem. Ted Cruz shows up. He does his thing. The other candidates that were supposed to be there show up. They do their thing. Marco Rubio was scheduled to talk last night, and 5 minutes before his speech, he cancels. He cancels on Mark Levin. And Breitbart states that Rubio likely would not have been well received at the convention by a guy named John Schnadel, who was there at the conference. Apparently, Cruz received a thunderous ovation when he took the stage, and there were a lot of people there who were pro-Cruz, among other things. Here's kind of the story. Rubio's team informed CR, Conservative Review, that he'd be late. So the event offered to adjust the schedule and do whatever it took to accommodate Rubio so that he could get there and speak. Rubio eventually ended up not showing up at all. Now, according to Rubio's campaign, it set Gowdy, Scott, and Jindal as surrogates to the event, but that's against the rules. The Conservative Review set the rules a few months ago and said you can't send surrogates. The only person that can come are the candidates themselves. And Jeb Bush was going to send surrogates, and they said no, so Bush was scratched. Now, Louis Gohmert criticized Rubio directly before Rubio went on to speak. And it just became clear that this was not a good place for Rubio to be. These weren't Rubio people. This was filled with staunch, hard-nosed conservatives who have bought into this whole Rubio flip-flopping. Now, the final update says that the Bush campaign is absolutely piling on, saying that Rubio's decision to cut and run is proof he's incapable of serving as commander-in-chief. And Bush sat down with Breitbart for an interview Friday morning and just said clearly he has time for conservatives while Rubio doesn't. Now, of course, we expect the candidates to pile on. Of course we do. But to stand Mark Levin up is a horrible career decision when you are running for president of the United States in the GOP primary. That is a horrible idea. There are two people who can swing this vote any direction they want to. One is Mark Levin. The other is Rush Limbaugh. And that infuriates the left, and it infuriates the establishment. But facts are facts because they have such a long record of being accurate, being right, and being conservative that they have earned the trust of the voters, unlike some of these politicians. And so for Marco Rubio to think he's bigger than the game is a huge mistake. Oh, my goodness. I don't know why he thought this was okay. And to compound this effect, earlier in the day, he was seen at a drive-in with Governor Nikki Haley at a photo op. They were just hanging out taking pictures. So he's got time for that. But he doesn't have time for Mark Levin, and what a mistake that is. You know, he's in a position to where if he does well in South Carolina, he's a serious contender. This race is incredibly important to him, and this was set up to do well. And just because the crowd wasn't in his favor doesn't mean a good politician and a good public speaker can't sway them. because he could have. If he would have came out and been sincere and argued conservative principles and gave solid explanations, if he would have just been honest, I know that's a new concept to politicians, but if he just would have been honest and upfront and given us conservative reasons to believe with him, he might have had an opportunity to turn some of them. But it seems to me like after Cruz got just a roar and he realized what was going on, he wasn't interested in this. So I find it fascinating. Horrible play by the Rubio camp. Don't go anywhere. I've got an update on the Apple FBI case. I've got to backtrack a little bit there. And then we've got a teenager playing doctor on the other side. Hang tight.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Saturday, April 23rd at the beautiful Texas Opry in Weatherford, Texas. Make plans to see Mo Bandy.
I'm Bandy the rodeo clown. He's not really cheating. She's just getting even. Till I'm too old to die young. Hank Williams, you wrote my life.
The Texas Opry Theater presents Mo Bandy, Saturday, April 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets by calling 817-341-1000 or go online at texasoprytheater.com. The Texas Opry Theater is located at 315 York Avenue in Weatherford, Texas. Don't miss Mo Bandy, Saturday, April 23rd. For tickets, call 817-341-1000 or go online at texasoprytheater.com.
Do you ride a Harley motorcycle and always wait till the last minute for a service job, but the weather's pretty and everybody wants to ride? Well, at Custom Bikes by Mike, wintertime is the perfect time for service. Get ahead of the game with tires, tubes, brakes, air filters, oil, plugs, and wheels. Get 15% more power on your Harley if it's properly tuned. Custom Bikes by Mike knows maintenance is important, plus tune-up, complete with a dyno and computer readout, takes all the guessing out of it. Custom Bikes by Mike is located on Johnson County Road 1100A between Rio Vista and Grandview, and they are Harley experts. Call 817-373-3090 or check out the website at CustomBikesByMike.com.
Your house is one of the most precious items that you own, so you want to protect it the best way you can, from top to bottom, starting at the top with your roof. If you have issues with your roof, that trouble can ruin things fast straight through the bottom. So if it's about time to get a new roof, or heaven forbid past time, you need to contact Copper Ridge Roofing and Construction. They do great work, they're fast and dependable, and a company you can trust. Give David Bentley a call today at 817-308-4704 or go to their website at www.copperridgeroofing.com. Protect your house with a great new roof from Copper Ridge Roofing and Construction, located at 6300 Ridgely Place Suite, 1101 Fort Worth, Texas. Copper Ridge Roofing and Construction, 817-308-4704.
Twisted Roads Trading Post in Crowley, Texas is your premier biker apparel, leather, and accessories store. Stop in and visit with Brothers Ron and Carl Phillips. Twisted Roads Trading Post carries leather jackets, chaps, vests, accessories, gifts, and more. Open 5 days a week, Wednesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Sundays, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Got a motorcycle or trike to sell? Their park and sell lot is now available and anxious to show off your ride. Sewing, embroidery, and t-shirt printing services are also available throughout the week. Call today or visit twistedroadstradingpost.com or find and like them on Facebook. Located west of Crowley on FM 1187, then south on FM 1902. Go 1.3 miles and look for the flags. 817-768-8761. That's 817-768-8761. Come on out and visit the boys at Twisted Roads Trading Post. If the flags are flying, they're open.
Is your vehicle not running quite right? Do you think it may be a problem with a transmission? Maybe you already know you need a new transmission or repairs. Whichever the case, bring it to Johnson's Transmission Service, located at 707 South Main in Cleburne. With over 35 years experience, Johnson's Transmission Service can get your automobile back in top running condition. They offer free estimates, accurate turnaround times for all their services, and some of the best prices you'll find on car repairs in the area. Call them today at 817-645-2491. That number again is 817-645-2491.
Hey, everybody, it's Chris Salcedo from the Blaze Radio Network. You are listening to The Gavin Mitchell Show.
All right, I have to digress a little bit. I came out a little hot and heavy yesterday about Apple versus the FBI, and the more I kick this around, the more I don't know where I stand, because I hate terrorists. My gosh, do I hate them. I hate everything about them. I hate the way they look. I hate the way they smell. I hate the way they think. And I hate what they do. I hate everything about them. And perhaps that's not so Christian, but that's a fact. I'm willing to admit my faults. But at the same time, I sure do love the Constitution and the liberties and the rights that it affords us, the guarantees we have against a tyrannical government just stomping all over us. I'm a big fan of that. And here we have a case where these two have just ran head on. And I got some new information, some new facts, because this just isn't sitting right with me. And I want to get into it. Before we do, though, we are starting in just about a week from tomorrow. We will be on the air on KLIF. Our normal times, KLIF 570 AM in Dallas-Fort Worth market. Our normal time is 8 to 9 p.m. on Saturdays, and then we're going to do our best to fill those advertising slots and extend to 2 hours and then go from there. But due to the basketball game this weekend, they wanted us on ahead of the Texas primaries, which is awesome. We're all for that. But the TCU basketball game, which they carry, and they have a contractual obligation, so we kind of got bumped. And I'm not, Ron, do you know the exact times we're on Saturday? Because it's a weird schedule.
I do. As of right now, what they're telling us is that we're going to be on from 6 to 7 a.m. Saturday morning, but they'll rerun the show between 10 and 11 p.m. after the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're getting up and you got an 8 o'clock tea time, that will be awesome for you Saturday. And then if you go out to dinner and maybe you're going to a late show, that'll be perfect for you as well. So it fits both schedules. It's not our normal time. Keep that in mind, but we would love for you to tune in. If you are not in the Dallas market, I believe you can go on to KLIF.com and stream the show. I believe you can get it there. So please tune in. In fact, I'm going to talk to my buddy Chris from New Media Patriot, and we're going to see if we can't break that stream. Let's just see if we can break the stream.
That sounds
Saturday
good.
Night.
They can also stream off of iHeartRadio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that. We're kind of a big deal now, apparently. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Ron. But yeah, let's break that stream. Let's see what we can do about that. So the Apple versus FBI, I've told you why I'm torn. And my stance was, well, why can't they just unlock the phone and turn over the information and not let the FBI know how they did it? That's not the case. Here's the problem. What I have learned is that Apple has done that. They've done it like 70 times for the government. They're all for helping out to a degree. The problem here is that they would have to write or rewrite the operating system in order to hack into the phone. And that new software that they have written, if it gets in the wrong hands, bad things could happen. Moreover, this case has so much attention on it, it sets a precedent around the world, because Apple just doesn't do business here in the United States, where we would like to think our government's on the up and up and they're not going to abuse this. If they do, we have checks and balances. We have countries like China out there and Russia and other countries in which the iPhone is sold. If Apple gives in here and rewrites this, then what does the Chinese government and the Russian government and other governments have to say to Apple? There's a lot of money to be made in China if you're Apple. And we're all for it because we're taking a capitalistic approach and driving it right into the heart of communism. Go Apple. But it sets a dangerous precedent. And again, on the other side of the argument, we've got terrorists, and we really want to get those guys. And so with that said, I have to digress a little bit. I believe we're going to have to find these terrorists the old-fashioned way. I think after I understand what happens and the dangers it presents, the precedents it presents, I think I'm going to differ a little bit with Ted Cruz here and say that I think Apple should stand its ground. I really do. And there's a lot of people that agree with me on that, and there's a lot of people that disagree. It's like the New York Yankees or Notre Dame football. You're either all for or all against, and I hope this proves to the audience that I'm not closed-minded. I'm willing to reconsider. And after I looked long and hard at this and I heard the arguments, I'm giving in. I'm going to the other side. I'm flip-flopping. I'm Marco Rubio and right here. It has just happened. So there's that, and it sets a dangerous, dangerous precedent. Now, I want to get to a story here that I just find incredibly amusing. It is fascinating on so many levels to me, and it's probably not so fascinating if you're one of the victims. But this guy, and it goes back to the argument I made, some of these people that have committed crimes and are sitting in prison are brilliant people. They just applied their intellect in the wrong way. If they would have gone and done something in a legal manner, they would have been incredibly successful. Well, here we have Dr. Love, and I am not making this up. Dr. Love-Robinson tells ABC his training involves shadowing many doctors and that he has a PhD but will not disclose in what field. Now, that's the conclusion that this guy has come to. Let me tell you the facts. This guy is 18 years old and set up shop for his private practice in West Palm Beach, Florida. He says that, or at least authorities say that he posed as a medical doctor and treated patients. This kid says, I'm not portraying as an MD. I never said I've gone to school to be an MD. He says he has a PhD, but wouldn't disclose in what field. Now, let me tell you this, folks. I actually do have a PhD, and it's not an easy thing to get. Even if you're the sharpest knife in the drawer and everything you're learning comes natural, it takes a lot of time. It just takes time to go through the coursework, and it takes time to set up your comps and take them, and it takes time to get your committee for your dissertation, and it takes time to get your dissertation written and approved. Even if you're a sharp cookie, it takes time. And for somebody, in many, many PhD programs, not all require you to have a master's degree. Again, takes time. And to have a master's degree, you have to have a bachelor's degree. Again, takes time. But to do that, you had to have graduated high school. My point is to shove all of those years in schooling into such a condensed amount of time that an 18-year-old has a PhD makes this guy a super genius. And I'm not saying it's unprecedented. I'm saying it's never happened. None of that. But what I'm saying is this is very unlikely. And had it happened, had this guy gotten a PhD by 18, we probably would have heard about it. Because we hear about the 12 and the 14-year-old going to Cal or going to MIT or whatever. That's newsworthy. I have no idea who this Dr. Love is. Here's the best part. He set up shop. He set up shop and started treating patients. He treated patients, and people had no idea he wasn't. And that's just fascinating to me that this guy can dupe so many people. And he was arrested for malpractice or pretending to be a doctor or something like that. But I just wanted to bring that story to you. Before we get out of here, I just got a note from Ron that the affluenza kid, Ethan Couch, from right here in the Metroplex, Fort Worth, Texas, they just moved his case from a juvenile court to an adult court. Now, what does that mean? And I've got 2 minutes to get this in. What it means is that he's going to an adult court, and his probated sentence will be carried out by adult probation and under the supervision of an adult court, which is fine. He's 19 in a month or two. I guess I'm okay with that. Here's what happens. Everybody thinks this guy's going to prison because he ran to Mexico. That is not true. That is not true at all. The most that can happen is he will get 120 days in jail, in the county jail, and then he will be released, and then he will be supervised by adult probation in Tarrant County, Texas, which is where Fort Worth is, and it's where the crime happened. That's all that's going to happen. Now, is that just? I don't know. But if they did not move his probation to an adult court, when he turned 19, this thing just disappears. It just goes away. He is released off probation. He is no longer under the purview of the juvenile court system because the second a defendant turns 19, they have to let go. Now, it is up to the adult justice system to decide whether they want to take him in and continue to supervise him, continue to carry out the punishment, or if they feel rehabilitation has been reached. We talked about the difference between the juvenile and adult courts. The juvenile courts focus on rehabilitation first. The adult courts focus on punitive. And so Ethan Couch has been moved to an adult court where he'll have a hearing. He'll go do his 120 days, and he'll get out, and life will be tough for him. It just will. So that's going to do it for this week, folks. Do not forget, if you're in South Carolina, get out there and vote, please. Otherwise, we will see you on Monday. Man, there is so much going on. Don't miss it. Until then, and the words of the great Ray Wiley Hubbard, on the days I keep my gratitude higher than my expectations, well, I have really good days. I hope you have a really good day. I hope you have a great weekend. I am Gavin Mitchell. This has been The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Thanks for listening to The Gavin Mitchell Show, the voice of the working man, produced in Fort Worth, Texas. If you like what you just heard, subscribe on iTunes and Spreaker.com. These and other links can be found on our website at thegavinmitchellshow.com. Be sure to tell your friends and colleagues about the Voice of the Working Man's daily podcast. Join us tomorrow for another edition of The Gavin Mitchell Show. All opinions expressed by the host or guests on this series are solely their opinions and do not reflect the views, policies, or positions of The Gavin Mitchell Show or its affiliates. This has been a Ron Phillips Pinnacle Voice Studios production.